Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Supervisor Team, Honorable External and Internal Examiner, Honorable Representative of Professor of Universitas Padjadjaran, dear audience here in the auditorium and those who join the live streaming in YouTube. On behalf of Universitas Padjadjaran, I would like to show my appreciation for your attendance in this doctoral promotion. Today, we will have the doctoral promotion of our student, Indah Suasani Wahyuni, as a doctor candidate in pharmacy. By saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare that the doctoral promotion session is officially started. Firstly, the secretary will deliver the code of conduct of the promotion.
Code of Conduct Doctoral Promotion Session. 1. The audience should join the whole session and maintain order during the entire event. 2. Those who join the meeting by Zoom should mute the microphone while not speaking to avoid the back sound. 3. Shall they need to speak or give the question, the microphone has to be shut in unmute mode. 4. During the session, those who attend in the auditorium should not leave the room during the meeting and should not answer the phone calls. Number 5. In case of emergency, the audience only allowed to answer SMS and keep their phone in silent mode. Number 6. Those who cannot attend the whole session are allowed to leave the main room early from the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you to the secretary. Now we will invite the promovenda to join the room. Coming to the academic responsibility speech from Supervisor Team regarding the eligibility of the promovenda to deliver her presentation and defense it in this promotion session. Please, Professor Dr. Apoteker Juti Levitra, MSc.
Thank you, Prof. Alia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Head and Secretary of the Doctoral Promotion Session, the expert opponents, and the representative professor of Universitas Padjadjaran, on behalf of the promoter team of Promovenda Indah Suasani Wahyuni, consisting of Professor Dr. Juti Levitra as the promoter, Dr. Irma Sufiawati as the co-promoter, Professor Dr. Wipawi Nita Yananta as the co-promoter, I confirm that Promovenda has fulfilled all requirements to attend the doctoral promotion session. She has passed the research proposal seminar, the research progress seminars, the research results seminar, and the dissertation draft review. Therefore, before I continue with this academic responsibility statement, allow me to read the biography of Promovenda. Promovenda was born in Malang, East Java, on January 24, 1977, as the seventh of 8 children of Dr. Andes Imam Effendi and Ibu Anisya. Promovenda attended her preschool education at TK PPSP IKIP Malang and graduated in 1983. Her elementary school study was at SD Negeri Percobaan, ex-SD PPSP IKIP Malang. Junior high school at SMP Negeri 4 Malang, senior high school at SMA Negeri 8 Malang. Her dentist degree was achieved in 2001 from the Faculty of Dentistry, Universitas Padjadjaran, continued with the specialist program in oral medicine, graduated in 2014 from the same faculty. In August 2019, Promovenda enrolled in the doctoral program in pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Padjadjaran. focusing on pharmacology. During her study, Promovenda explored the anti-oral mucosal ulcerative activity and mechanism of the ethanol extract of Kaempferia galanga rhizome and had successfully published 5 articles in the Journal of Hermet Pharmacology, a Quartile 3 Scopus Index journal, in the International Journal of Applied Pharmaceutics, a Quartile 2 Scopus Index journal, Material Science Forum, a Quartile 4 Scopus Index journal, Rasayan Journal of Chemistry, a Quartile 2 Scopus Index journal, and the 5th article is published very recently in the Journal of Inflammation Research, a Quartile 2 or Quartile 1 Scopus Index journal with impact factor of 6.92. Currently, the 6th manuscript is being written. Furthermore, to disseminate her research, Promovenda enrolled in several international conferences, 3 of them as the oral and poster presenter. She also actively participated in community engagement activities in Desa Cikidang Lembang and Desa Bumiwang Ciparai. The data of this activity has been accepted in CHEMAS, a SINTA 2 accredited journal. In addition, a book draft entitled Pharmacologi Obat Ulcerasi Mucosa Mulut had been written by Promovenda as well and was sent to the publisher. Considering this, I, on behalf of the promoter team, decided that Promovenda is feasible to defend her dissertation in this doctoral promotion session. We will accept all decisions made by the Honorable Committee and the expert opponents regarding the academic performance of Promovenda. For this, we thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The promoter team. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Professor Dr. Apothekar Jyoti Levita. Dear audience, the supervisor team have declared the eligibility of the Promovenda to present and defend her doctoral work to the committee in this doctoral defense forum. It is now time for the Promovenda to give her presentation, and it is not more than 20 minutes. Doctoral candidate Indah Suasani Wahyuni, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Professor Dr. Alia Nur Hasanah, for the time. Next slide, please. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To the Honorable Chairperson and Secretary of the Doctoral Promotion Session, Professor Dr. Alia Nur Hasanah and Professor Dr. Anis Yohana Hairunisa. To the representative Professor of Universitas Pajajaran, Professor Dr. Anas Subarnas. To the team of promoters, Professor Dr. Jyoti Levita, Dr. Irna Sufiawati, and Professor Dr. Wipawini Tayananta. And to the expert opponents, Dr. Kusnandar Anggadireja, Dr. Eni Rohmawati, and Dr. Irma Meliani Puspitasari. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, my name is Indah Suasani Wahyuni. First, I want to say thank you for attending in this doctoral promotion session. Today, I will present my dissertation with entitled Anti-Oral Mucosal Ulceration Activity and Mechanism of the Ethanol Extract of Kaempferia galanga rhizome via inhibition of COX-2 expression. This is the outline of our study, and it will divide it into 3 sections. The background of this study. Our mouth is access to food intake, so that oral health is important in maintaining general health. However, oral mucosal ulceration is the most common oral mucosal disease, and in Indonesians, the prevalence were between 0.9 to 8%. The oral mucosal ulceration can lead to inflammatory reaction. Inflammation actually is a protective biological response which is temporary and will stimulate wound healing process. But the deregulated inflammation, or if not treated well, it will cause tissue damages or become a disease. Furthermore, it will potentially altering the systemic health and will decrease the human quality of life. Inflammation responses starting with the induction that will stimulate the tissue inflammation sensors to produce several inflammatory mediators. The inflammatory process will then be related to the wound healing process, which will continue to the proliferation and remodeling phase. In oral mucosal ulceration, which caused by various stimuli, there is a failure of the immune system to defend against physiological inflammatory reaction. Then anti-inflammatory drug is required. Currently, non-steroid and steroid anti-inflammatory drugs are commonly used. The mechanism of NSA action by inhibit the COX-1 and COX-2 enzyme non-selectively or selectively COX-2. Meanwhile, the steroids inhibit the phospholipase A2 enzyme. The use of these drugs have several side effects. Then, a new anti-inflammatory drug for oral mucosal ulcer is needed. I'm sorry. Recently, drug research tends to the use of herbal medicine because they are mostly edible and believed to be safer. Based on the literature, Kaempferia galanga rhizome is one of the herbal medicine that empirically has been widely used to treat inflammation, reduce pain, and swelling. The rhizome part is also commonly used as a food spice, particularly in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. These plants belong to the Zingiberaceae family, and several studies found that the secondary metabolites contained in Kaempferia galanga were EPMC and kaempferol, which have the anti-inflammatory effects. The following are the chemical structure of the metabolites. This is kaempferol and this is EPMC. These are several publications on Kaempferia galanga rhizome research. The biochemical studies and phytochemical screening showed that the presence of secondary metabolites in the extract and plants. However, there is no publication yet that reported the effect of different harvesting time or season to the content of secondary metabolites. It is necessary because Indonesia consists of two seasons, rainy and dry season. Meanwhile, the oral toxicity test showed that the extract and isolate were safe, did not show any acute subchronic toxicity as well as mortality. Several studies also have been conducted in vitro, in vivo, and clinical trials. Both extracts and isolate of EPMC from this plant had anti-inflammatory activity. However, there is no publication yet reported the anti-inflammatory mechanism of the ethanol extract of this plant through the inhibition of COX-2 enzyme, as well as its anti-inflammatory activity on oral mucosal ulceration. Then these are what will be the novelty in this research. Several studies also have been published that COX-2 increase in oral mucosal inflammation, and several studies also have been done using molecular docking simulation to explore the potency of some natural product as COX-2 inhibitor. This evidence base support the research design in our study. Based on the literature review that we have done, these are 14 premises that support 5 problems in our research. Following are the problems, the objective and hypothesis of our study. This slide presents the research flowchart. Start with the plant determination, then extract preparation, the qualitative analysis of secondary metabolites, and also determine the EPMC in the extract. The in vitro study will obtain the IC50 of the extract and then the in vivo study using animal models. These are the instruments used on spectrophotometric and chromatographic analysis. We use the pure EPMC and kaempferol as standard. Then this is the workflow on anti-inflammatory activity using COX-2 inhibitory screening kit. Then this is the workflow of the in vivo study. The parameters were macroscopic visual observation on ulcer area and inflammation sign score, as well as the microscopic histopathological score. And this is the Western blot method workflow in mechanism study to detect the expression of COX-2 proteins. For the second section is results. We have synthesized extracts from plants harvested in the rainy and dry seasons. The extract from plants harvested in rainy season fulfilled the criteria of Indonesian Pharmacopoeia Herbal. This is become the answer for problem number 1. We have done a qualitative analysis for the extract, the phytochemical screening, and using spectrophotometer. Both of the extract contain several secondary metabolites and EPMC. However, the flavonoids contained in the extract are not kaempferol. The chromatogram profile using HPLC also showed that EPMC detected and kaempferol not detected in the extract. But using TLC method, EPMC and kaempferol were predicted to be exist in the extract. This result also answered the problem number 1 and already published in Quartile 4 Scopus Index Journal. Quantitatively, we have obtained the result of EPMC level using standard addition method. It showed that EPMC contained in the extract harvested in the rainy season 10 times greater than the EPMC level in extract from plants harvested in the dry season. This result is the answer for problem 1-2 and already published in Quartile 2 Scopus Index Journal. This slide presents the result of in vitro study. Prostaglandin production was measured as a parameter to determine the activity of extract and other test materials to inhibit COX-2 enzyme as catalysator. Then we have obtained several conclusions as follows. The 6 minute was the time that showed the maximum inhibitory effect of the extract towards COX-2 to catalyze prostaglandin's production. Number 2, the extract had inhibitory effect. 15.625 and 31.25 ppm of the extract are effective and significantly inhibited the prostaglandin's production. The relative IC50 has been obtained from the 6 minute compared to the 4th minute is 39.85 ppm. Then the result number 4 is the IC50 for the extract at the 6 minute was 58.88 ppm, which was weaker than the IC50 for celecoxib, which is 0.172 ppm. These results are the answer for problem 2 and already published in Quartile 2 Scopus Index Journal. From this slide, we will present the result of the in vivo study. In the group of rats induced with ulcers, there was a tendency to increase in the average daily feed consumption, but a tendency to decrease the average daily water consumption. Then the grouping of rats was done based on manually randomization. The baseline body weight measurement of rats did not show significant difference. All groups of rats showed a tendency to lose weight during the experimental period, except for test 2 group, and only the triamcinolone acetonide group showed significant weight loss. This slide presents about the determination of percent recovery of ulcer area. Only test 1 group show better than negative control. This group obtained the recovery up to 85% of the ulcer area in 6 days. The figure here is the dynamic or profile of the percent recovery of ulcer area every day. It showed that the 3rd day was estimated to become the peak of the ulcer development process because the negative control group did not show recovery compared to the 2nd day. While on the other hand, the extract and the triamcinolone group showed an increase in recovery day by day. Other parameters were the measurement of inflammation sign score, test 1 and test 2 group, or 0.5 until 1% extract showed a better average of ISS than the negative control after 6 days treatment. Meanwhile, only the T1 group showed the total score and percent recovery of ISS which was better than the negative control. The figure shows the example of inflammation sign score measurement on rats. This is the result of the histopathology score measurement. All the intervention group showed a better score than the negative control. The best scores and significantly different were in the T2 and T3 groups. Meanwhile, based on the total score of the frequency distribution, the best and most effective groups were shown by T1, T2, and T3 groups. In the right side is a representative histopathology features and comparison between groups. All of that in vivo study result were answered the problems number 3 and 4 and already published in Scopus Index Journal Quartile 1 with high impact factor. This slide presents the in vivo study to explore the anti-inflammatory mechanism via COX-2 expression. The COX-2 protein bands appeared at 74 kilodalton, and as the internal standard, beta-actin was used and appeared at 42 kilodalton. Triamcinolone, T1, T2, and T3 showed their efficacy in inhibits the COX-2 protein expression. This became the answer for problem 5 that we already prepared the draft of manuscript to be submitted to the high reputable Scopus Index Journal. Then the third section is conclusion and recommendation. Conclusions. 1. Different climates affect the percentage yield, the quality, and the quantity of the secondary metabolites in the extract. The APMC level in extract from plants harvested in the rainy season is 10 times higher from plants harvested in the dry season. Number 2. The 15.6 to 31.2 ppm of the extract inhibits the prostaglandin formation catalyzed by COX-2 and significantly different, although weaker than celecoxib. The relative IC50 of the extract was 39.8 ppm and the growth IC50 of the extract was 58.8 ppm. Number 3. The 0.5% extract effective in increasing the percent recovery of ulcer area and inflammation sign scores. Number 4. The 0.5 to 2% extract effective in reducing the histopathology scores. Even the 1% and 2% extract can reduce significantly. Number 5. The 0.5% to 2% extract were able to reduce the expression of COX-2. And this is the proposed mechanism of action of ethanol extract of Kaempferia galanga rhizome as anti-oral mucosal ulcer through inhibition of COX-2. With satisfactory results obtained in this research, it can be recommended for these several further researches. The development of this ethanol extract of Kaempferia galanga rhizome will be able to help solve the problem of discovering alternative topical drugs for oral mucosal ulceration therapy. For the closing of this presentation, here are the research output of this study. We have already published 5 articles in the Scopus Index Journal. 1 article is Q4, one article is Q3, 2 article is Q2. And this is article number 5, which is the research article published in the Scopus Index Journal Quartile 1 with impact factor of 6.92. We also have already disseminated the research result in the 3 international conferences, both posters and oral presentations. And this manuscript is also the output during my doctoral program study. It is the community engagement-based research article, which is accepted in Indonesian Sinta Accredited Journal Rank 2. It will be published in July 2022. Currently, we are also submitting an ISDN for a reference book entitled Pharmacology of Oral Mucosal Ulceration Drugs under the banner of Unpad Press. That is all of my presentation. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mrs. Indah, for the presentation. Please let me confirm the committee about their acceptance on the candidate's presentation. The external examiner, internal examiner, and the representative of professor. Do you accept the presentation of Promovenda? Okay, thank you very much. And then we can continue the session. Dear Promovenda, by the acceptance of your presentation, it is your obligation now to defend it in front of the committee forum. I invite the supervisor, Professor Dr. Apotheker Juti Levita, Master of Science, to give the questions.
Thank you, Prof. Alia. Firstly, I congratulate you, Indah, for finally reaching this proud moment. You have proved that an Indonesian spice, Kaempferia galanga rhizome, exhibits anti-inflammatory activity by reducing the percentage of the ulcer area and as well as the inflammation sign scores in the chemical-induced oral mucosal ulcer with Tourette's. However, because you only concluded that the mechanism of this anti-inflammatory activity is by inhibiting COX-2 expression, I need your clarification about the following questions. The first is, I believe that you have studied about NF-kappa B signaling pathway related to inflammation. Please explain the role of NF-kappa B in inflammation. The second question is, what constituents in the rhizome of this plant are responsible for this activity, this anti-inflammatory activity? And do these constituents selectively inhibit COX-2 and not COX-1 as well? And the third is, what research-related obstacles did you encounter during conducting this research? And how did you handle these obstacles? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question, Professor Juti Levita. I will try to answer the questions. For the first question about the other mechanism, in this case is NF-kappa B. NF-kappa-B is the key or the proteins that have a role to the producing or synthesizing the several proteins and cytokine in inflammation. It starts with the induction or the stimulus from various stimuli. For example, biting the oral mucosal, so it will become the mechanical stimuli. The mechanical stimuli to the oral mucosal epithelial will stimulate the inflammatory reaction in the tissue. It will cause or effect to the complex of NF-kappa-B with IKK that is physiologically binding in the tissue. When the induction occurred, then the NF-kappa-B and IKK will phosphorylate it. The NF-kappa-B will translocate to the nucleus and it will start the transcription or synthesizing the several proteins and cytokine, which is pro-inflammatory cytokine. And then it, for example, to produce the COX-2 and TNF-alpha. That is the answer for question number 1. For the question number 2, what is the constituent in the extract? Based on the phytochemical screening that we have done, we already found beside the polyphenol and kaempferol, there are the extract contain of tannin, saponin, terpenoid, and alkaloids. This metabolite secondary can act synergistically to improve the oral mucosa ulceration because they have several pharmacology effect. For example, as anti-inflammatory, as astringent, antioxidant, and it will promote the wound healing. Specifically, based on the result of TLC or HPLC and spectrophotometry, we found that our extract contain of EPMC. This EPMC is polyphenol that prove to have anti-inflammatory activity. It is based on the in silico study. EPMC and kaempferol is selective inhibiting to COX-2, to the COX-2 enzyme, because it is have similar bonding mode to the other selective COX-2 inhibitor drugs, for example, celecoxib. It has hydrogen bonding with SER-530. But kaempferol seems more potent than EPMC as COX-2 inhibitor drugs. That's my answer for question number 2. And for the question number 3, how I overcome the obstacle during my research study. Of course, during pandemic situation, it is very hard to go to the laboratory because sometimes the laboratory has to be locked down and the research has to be penned. But I still try to keep spirit to continue my research. For example, I have to follow the rules. I have to for example, when I have to enter the lab, I have to get swabbed or I have to get vaccinated and completing the requirement so that I still can go to the laboratory. And the best chance to writing a paper or article to be published in the journal, I think we have more time in this pandemic situation. Maybe that's all my question. Thank you very much for your valuable question.
Okay. Now we continue to invite Professor Dr. Wipawi Nitayananta as co-supervisor to give the question. Please unmute your Zoom. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Indah for her success.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So my question is, because you presented that there is a range of percentage that works well, right? 0.5% to 2%. So
Yes.
my question is, if you would like to develop the formulation of this compound, which percentage do you think would be the best? And also at that range of percentage, I wonder if you already confirmed that it is not toxic, no toxicity to the oral epithelial cells, because this product will be used in the mouth of the people, right? And also, which formulation would be the best for this compound, in your opinion? This is my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Wipawi, for the question. I will try to answer. For the first question, between 0.5% until 2%, which is the best dose, is good to develop to become a drug. Maybe I choose 1% because it is in several tests, macroscopically, microscopically, and molecular study of COX-2 expression showed it is the best result, and yeah, it shows the best result. Then the second, for the second question, how to ensure the toxicity? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. For the question number 2, because this drug will use in the mouth, so we have to make sure that this drug is safe and not toxic. In the future research, we already construct, or we already have a plan to do the cytotoxicity study or acute and subchronic toxicity, so that if this extract will develop to become a drug, so we have to ensure this safety. And then for the third question about the formulation, which is better. In our clinical setting in oral medicine department, mostly the ulceration is presented in the single ulcer or locally, not widespread. Even the widespread ulceration in the mouth is exists too. So for the first step, we want to do the formulation of the drugs in the semi-solid formula. For example, in the gel formula, and it
ada yang foto ya.
and it will I'm sorry. I think it will effective if we use the gel because it will increasing the contact time locally to the oral ulceration. In the next study, maybe in the future study, we also want to explore to formulate this extract in the liquid formula for mouthwash, because we also have the widespread ulceration in the mouth too. Thank you. Maybe that's all my answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I invite Dr. Irna Supiawati, Dentist SP PMK, as co-supervisor to give the question.
Good morning, Dr. Irna.
Press the button first.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say congratulations for your achievement of your study so far. So I believe we are here, all of us really appreciate of all your hard work until you have 5 publication. Okay, as a result of your study, well done in that. So my first question is, as you know, there are lots of herb medicine for oral ulceration, and then please mention all of them. And what is your excellency of Kaempferia galanga compared to those herb medicine, those other herb medicine? Okay. And then my second question is, what is the impact of your research journey of your life
for your academic life and your and spiritually. That's all my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Irna, for the question. I will try to answer. For the first question, what is other herbal medicine that already researched or already exists in the clinical setting? As we know, maybe we already find that several topical drugs contained with aloe vera extract, or contained with licorice, or in other country, for example, in India, I ever read that the curcuma longa is already made to become the topical drugs for oral mucosal ulceration. What is the excellency of Kaempferia galanga? I think our study showed that this extract in the lower dose or lower concentration can show the anti-inflammatory effect. So I think it is very important if we want to develop this extract to become a drug, because it will effective and efficient in the cost. So I think that is the answer number one. And then, what is the impact for my academic life and spiritually? This is a very hard question, because spiritually, I think after doing this research so far, this plant has very much activity and has very good anti-inflammatory effect. So it makes me praise to the God that He has create the very much herbal medicine, and it can be developed to become an oral mucosal ulceration therapy, for the drugs for oral mucosal ulceration therapy. And for the academic life, I think this study, or during this doctoral program, I have much learned about the development of herbal medicine, because we have some problems in our clinical setting in oral medicine department, that it is quite difficult to get the reachable impulse of the topical drugs for oral mucosal ulceration. This is one of my reason why I choose herbal medicine to be developed to oral mucosal ulceration drugs, oral mucosal therapy drugs. Thank you. Maybe that is my answer. Thank you.
We are moved to the next session, which are the question or rebuttal from the expert opponent. I invite Dr. Apoteker Kusnandar Anggadireja, external examiner from ITB, to give the question.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Chairperson. So, Ms. Indah Suhasani, congratulations for having achieved the final stage of your doctoral degree program. And I have the following 3 questions for you. The first one is about the epidemiological aspect of the illness to be potentially treated by your test substances. So at the beginning of your presentation, you have mentioned actually about the prevalence, right, of this illness. But I would like to ask you further about this aspect, especially in terms of the burden of illness, right, due to this oral mucosal ulceration. So, for example, can you give me some information about, say, economic burden or rate of hospitalization, for example, or even death associated with this illness, if you have that kind of information. And my second question is about the safety evaluation of the pharmaceutical formulation to be developed in the future. I heard previously you mentioned about gel formulation or liquid oral, right? So I would like to know a bit detail about the toxicity tests, right, to be performed for this future developed pharmaceutical formulation. And what is the rationale, right, for conducting these toxicity tests? And my last question, in regard to requirements to be fulfilled, drugs should be safe, effective, and also of best quality. But now I think we also know that cost effectiveness is also one requirement to be considered. So if EEKG-based topical drug formulation are to be developed as you recommended in your thesis book, and maybe you can make your expectation. What is the potential cost effectiveness compared to the currently available drugs or formulation? Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Kusnandar, thank you very much for the valuable question. For the question number 1, I will try to answer about the prevalence of epidemiology of this disease. The burden of illness in this stomatitis, in this disease, actually it is always cause the pain and difficult in swallowing or speaking daily activity of the patient. So I think, and I already read in several publications that quality of life of the patient will decrease because of this disease. Particularly if the disease is recurrent. So every month in a month twice they have the stomatitis. So it will cause the quality of life the patient will decrease. And we have another type of the ulceration. For example, widespread ulceration because of the autoimmune disease. It will cause the quality of life of the patient will decrease. Then about the economic burden. Now, currently, several existed drugs, topical drugs, for example, triamcinolone acetonide and hyaluronic acid-based topical gel for oral mucosal ulceration is very expensive, especially for our people. So, I think because several raw materials or several base vehicle has to be imported. So it will cause the drugs to become expensive. And that is for the question number 1. So it will cause the decreasing in quality of life, and it is on high cost drug. For the second question, although this drug is only topically, but because it used inside the mouth, it has potentially to be swallowed, so that we still have to do the toxicity test. So that is the rationale why we have to do the toxicity test. And then for the third question, my expectation in the cost effectiveness, if we develop this extract to become drugs, maybe for the beginning of the this drug development will take rather high cost, because we have to do several basic research to make this drug, to ensure this drug is safe, effective, and in high quality. But I think when we can collaborate with the industry or pharmacist industry, and I hope in the future we can do this collaboration to product this extract. They have already ready to develop several drugs. So I think maybe in the beginning of this drugs development, will take the high cost effectiveness. But after we can produce to scale up this extract, we can reduce the price of the cost. And this extract showed that in the lower concentration is better than higher concentration. So it is prospectus to become developed to become drugs. That's all my answer. Thank you very much, Dr. President.
I invite now Dr. Eni Rohmawati, Dr. Master of Health as internal examiner to give the question.
Thank you, Ms. Chairperson, for the opportunity given. Firstly, congratulations, Dr. Indah, on your great achievement.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you some questions. First, why does ethanol extract of Kaempferia galanga that harvested in rainy season, or EEKGR, have a better PTNC level than the ethanol extract of Kaempferia galanga that harvested in dry season? Or in short, why the climate can interfere the EPNC level? And the second question is, in the recommendation section, it is stated that the next stage of research in order to use safely in humans, that is clinical trials. Would you please explain what is a clinical trials and what are the stages? Thank you. That's my questions.
Okay. Dr. Eni, thank you very much for the valuable question. I will try to answer. For the first question, the EPMC level in the extract from plant harvested in the rainy season is well hydrated. So that the secondary metabolites of the rhizome can protect their self, and they can produce in the maximum, reach the maximum in the maximum contain. The secondary metabolites function is to protect the rhizome or to the plant from the environment. So without we can say that is the plant worrying to dehydrated, so it can maximize their potency to produce the secondary metabolites. So that's why in the rainy season, because it is well hydrated, so the rhizome can produce the maximum secondary metabolites in, for example, in here is EPMC. Meanwhile, in the rhizome harvested from plant in the dry season, the rhizome try to maintain their life by saving as much water as possible. So it will decrease the potency of the rhizome to produce the secondary metabolites, because he has to the rhizome has to maintain their self with as much water as possible in the dry season. And for the question number 2, the clinical study. Clinical study is one of the research study design in developing the drugs that test how well is a new medication or drugs approaches with human condition. For example, we want to test the new drugs or method in screening or in prevention or for diagnosis and for treatment process. of the disease. So we can use the clinical study. And the phase, we have 4 phases of the clinical study. For the first is done to the healthy volunteer, about 30 people, to know the tolerance of the drugs and the unpredictable or unwanted side effect or adverse effect. Then the phase 2 is trial of the drugs to 100 until 200 people with disease, for example, with stomatitis. We can do this phase 2 clinical study with various dose and use the control. For example, triamcinolone acetonide or other conventional therapy. For the third phase of the clinical trial is done to more than 200 human. Also in wide variety of people. For example, in ulceration, in oral mucosal ulceration, there are several diseases. For example, stomatitis albus recurrens, traumatic ulcer, or maybe chemical burn ulcer. So we can do the third phase to compare the effect or the toleration of the drugs or the effect in various doses and in various variation of people. And the last is phase 4, done in marketing surveillance to more ensure that this drug is safe if we use in human, and it needs more than 1,000 of the patient. Maybe that's all my answer. Thank you very much.
Now I invite Apotheker Irma Meliani Pustasari, PhD, as internal examiner to give the question.
Thank you very much, the chairman of this event. First of all, I would like to say congratulations for you for your beautiful presentation and great achievement with 5 publications. It's really amazing. Okay, I would like to ask 2 following questions. The first one is, in your recent publication, you state that the phase of wound healing process. Please explain what the phase of wound healing, and then how the Kaempferia galanga could be the part of the healing process. And the second question is, there are many mechanism pathway of anti-inflammatory activity. Why did you choose to investigate the inhibition of COX expression for your research? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Irma Meliani, for the valuable question. I will try to answer. For the first question is about the wound healing process. Wound healing process is consists of 4 phases. First is induction. Second, to the inflammation. When the immune system can defend against the physiological inflammation reaction, so it will continue to the next step in wound healing, that is proliferation of the tissue and remodeling. So this extract, this Kaempferia galanga extracts, should have anti-inflammatory effect. Then it helped the Kaempferia galanga extract help the immune system to overcome the inflammation. The inflammation not become severe and disease, but it can continue to the next step, proliferation of some proteins and proliferation of some proteins to improve the wound healing of the tissue. For example, will synthesize the protein of wound healing. For example, matic metalloproteinases that have role in the remodeling phase. So when the inflammation can overcome with this extract, the inflammation will stop and continue to the wound healing process. That is the answer for number 1. And for the second question, why we choose the parameter is COX-2 expression. In the cyclooxygenase pathway, we already know that there is 2 isomer, COX-1 and COX-2. COX-2 only produced when there is several or if there is various stimuli, for example, mechanical, chemical, or pathogens that induce the tissue, then the tissue will promote the inflammatory signaling pathway. In the first, I already state that the NF-kappa B, if the complex NF-kappa B and IKK induced by stimulus, it will phosphorylate it, and the NF-kappa B will translocate to the nucleus and produce or transcription some inflammatory proteins and cytokine. For example, inflammatory protein in this case is COX-2. But why did not take or did not do the research on COX-1? Because COX-1 is physiologically needed in our body to produce prostaglandins that has function to coat the gastric mucosa. So if I choose the drugs that inhibiting the COX-1, it will still cause the side effect in particularly in gastric. Maybe that's all my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The last examiner is Professor Dr. Apoteker Ana Sugarnas, Master of Science, as the representative of Universitas Padjadjaran, Professor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Professor Avia. I forget your name. So, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Indah, for the achievement of your doctoral studies up to the stage of doctoral promotions session today. And you have 10 or 5 publications, international publications. It is very nice achievement for you. Okay, I have 2 questions. Mrs. Indah. The first is, it is connection with the recommendation section you wrote in the dissertation, that one of the recommendation is to evaluate the mechanism of action of the extract. Yes.
Yes.
On another signaling pathway. So I'd like to know what kind of another signaling pathway that you suggested to do here. And if you already know, so maybe you already know also how to do the research for that. The second question is, actually my question is about what kind of products, preparation that is suitable for the anti-oral mucosal ulceration. But you already mentioned before that when you answer the question of the professor, who is it? Rupai, that the suitable product is gel, yes? That's right?
Yes.
So of course I would like to know what is the reason why you choose that preparation of this product. And how about the mouthwash? Yes. I think mouthwash is preferred. And if you already determine what kind of product, maybe you already know also how to make the products. Please explain to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Anas, for the valuable question. I will try to answer. For the first question about what is the other signaling pathway that we can explore in the future to explore the other mechanism of action of these drugs. I think the NF-kappa B signaling pathway and the expression of TNF alpha is very good to be explored, because NF-kappa B has important role to in the inflammation, to produce some proteins and proteins and cytokine in inflammation. So if the extract can inhibit the translocation of the NF-kappa B or inhibit the transcription of that inflammatory protein and cytokine, maybe it will be valuable result. So my first answer is to explore the NF-kappa B signaling pathway. And why TNF alpha? Because in TNF alpha is overexpression in the oral mucosal ulceration. So when this cytokine can be inhibits, it will also benefit to these drugs. And how to do this research? We can use the Western blot method to know the expression of these proteins, or we can use the other way or the other method using real-time PCR. And in the future, I plan to explore the mechanism of the wound healing, not only the anti-inflammatory effect, but the wound healing using ELISA with the parameter is matrix metalloproteinase 8, MMP8, or IL-10, VEGF, or TGF-beta. That is the protein that important in the wound healing process. And then for the second question, what kind of the suitable product? Beside the gel formula, of course we can explore, or we can formulate this extract in liquid formula or for mouthwash. We can add anti-dental caries in that formula if there is no drug interaction. In our clinical setting in oral medicine department, the gel form drug is good or is proper for the ulceration that is reachable. For example, in lower labial mucosa or in front side of the mouth. But when the ulcer is widespread all of the mouth, so it is not effective to use only in the gel form. So of course we want to develop it in the mouthwash formula too. That is the reason what is the suitable product. And then for the third question, I'm sorry, I forget the third question. What can you repeat? How about
How to make the preparation, the formula? Just simple explanation, please.
how to
To make,
make the formula?
yes.
Okay. The drugs formula, first we have to ensure that the raw materials, for example, in this case is Kaempferia galanga rhizome. We have to collaborate with the farmer all over Indonesia, so that the raw material is exists and can extract it. And then the extract, the second step is the extract should be well standardized. We can collaborate with the university doing research, or we can collaborate with the pharmacist industry to make the standardization and scale up of the extract is easier and cost effective. And to make the formula for the gel, we because this extract only need in the lower concentration, so we need the vehicle. For example, the proper vehicle for the gel formulation is carboxymethyl cellulose or CMC or PVP, polyvinyl pyrrolidone or others. And for the mouthwash, the vehicle that commonly used is water-based or ethanol-based, or maybe we can explore another vehicle for mouthwash. And as I mentioned before, that we can add the anti-dental caries for it in this mouthwash, so the oral mucosa and the teeth too is healthy. Thank you, Professor. That is my answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have finished the question and answer session of today's doctoral promotion. Next, we will have some break to the committee for final meeting to determine the final mark. We invite the committee who attend the promotion at the auditorium to join us in the meeting room. Professor Wipawi and Dr. Kusnandar can click the breakout room button to join us in the meeting by online. The promovenda and the audience shall have time to break. Thank you. Prof. Pakus Anda. Now you can click the breakout room. I think the pharmacy already invited to join the discussion room.
Okay.
Am I in the right room now? Hello. Am I in the right room? Is it okay here? Okay. Hello, sorry, am I in the right room or I? Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm in the right room.
Honorable Supervisor Team, Honorable External and Internal Examiner, Honorable Representative of Professor in Universitas Padjadjaran, dear audience here in the auditorium, and those who join us in live streaming YouTube. We will continue doctoral promotion of Indah Suasani Wahyuni. We invite the promovenda to join the room. Promovenda, Mrs. Indah Suasani Wahyuni. The committee has finished the meeting on your dissertation and doctoral promotion today. Based on the final mark of the subject of doctoral study, the mark of your doctoral defense, the review on dissertation manuscript, and doctoral promotion today, we have came to the decision that you pass your doctoral study with judicium cum laude. Starting today, you are officially awarded the academic degree as doctor. On behalf of the Rector of Universitas Padjadjaran, we congratulate your achievement. Congratulations are also extended to your family who has been supporting you to achieve this highest academic degree. I hope this will bring more success in your future. It should be realized that doctoral degree is not just adding 2 letters in front of your name, but it carries more responsibility to continuously develop knowledge, especially in the field of science that you are engaged in, to contribute to the welfare of the nation and state. Doctoral certificate will not be awarded at this session, but will be submitted later at the upcoming Padjadjaran University graduation ceremony. As proof of the graduation approval of Mrs. Indah in this doctoral promotion session, we will hand over the certificate of approval of doctoral promotion session on behalf of Dr. Indah Suasani Wahyuni. Next, I invite the head of the supervisor team, Professor Apotheker Juti Levita, Master of Science, to convey her impression, message, and hope for this new doctor.
Thank you, Prof. Alia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Chairperson and Secretary of the Doctoral Promotion Session, the expert opponents, and the representative professor of Universitas Padjadjaran. All praises belong to Allah the Almighty. Only with His permission Today, Dr. Indah Suasani Wahyuni has passed the doctoral promotion session with excellent judicial. From the deepest of our hearts, we are grateful and thank all members of the committee for this doctoral promotion session. Dear Dr. Indah Suasani Wahyuni, for almost more than 5 semesters since August 2019, we have supervised and guided you. We discussed many things related to the topic of your research. We chit-chatted a lot of days and nights every time you encountered problems until we found the best way out. I must admit that you have handled all obstacles with courage and pride. Dr. Indah Suasani Wahyuni, we are very proud of you for successfully achieving this highest academic degree. We hope that this achievement will strengthen your humble character, making you a doctor who always maintains the best academic ethics and good integrity every single day of your life. Starting from today, we are not your promoter anymore. Our congratulations to you and your beloved family. Again, we thank the committee very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The promoter team, Professor Dr. Yuti Levita as the promoter, Dr. Ina Sufiawati as the co-promoter, and Professor Dr. Wipawi Nitayananta as the co-promoter.
Thank you to the head of the supervisor team. Before I close this session, I invite Dr. Indah Suasani Wahyuni to express her gratitude and happiness regarding the completion of her in the doctorate program in pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Padjadjaran. Dr. Indah, the time is yours.
Thank you, Professor Alia, for the time. Now allow me to deliver this acknowledgement. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Praise and gratitude I pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His grace, sustenance, and mercy, so that we are all under the guidance and ease in carrying out the endeavor to reach the knowledge that is blessed by Him. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. It is an honor and privilege that I can earn a doctorate from Pharmacy Faculty, Universitas Padjadjaran. I am very proud to become a part of Faculty Pharmacy Universitas Padjadjaran family, which is the best faculty for research and publication in Universitas Padjadjaran with international accreditation. I also thank the Rector of Universitas Padjadjaran via the Directorate of Research and Community Engagement for funding the tuition fee and research of my study at doctoral program in Pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Padjadjaran during 2019 to 2022 with doctoral dissertation research scheme RDDU ALG. I have always been under the guidance, direction, input, and motivation of the promoter team, doing the research, writing the manuscript and dissertation book, and also all the expert opponents. Throughout my journey in doctoral program in Pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Padjadjaran. For that, I express my gratitude and thank Professor Dr. Yuti Levita, Dr. Ina Sufiawati, and Professor Dr. Wipawi Nitayananta. During these 3 years, I have learned a lot from you. Hopefully, I can continue to develop this knowledge and continue to learn to become a better person. For Ibu Yuti, happy birthday. I hope my doctoral promotion will be an unforgettable birthday gift for you. Allow me continue to study under your guidance, both as a researcher and as a lecturer in Universitas Padjadjaran. Dr. Irna, thank you for being my mentor as well as my sister, both when I was a staff in oral medicine department and during my doctoral study program under your supervision. Professor Wipawi, I am very grateful to have you as my co-promoter. Your patience, guidance, supporting, and knowledge always make me better. Hopefully, our collaboration can continue in the future. Thank you very much. And then I would also like to take this opportunity to express my deepest respect and gratitude to various parties who have supported the research and preparation of this dissertation. Professor Dr. Ajeng Diantini as Dean of Faculty of Pharmacy Universitas Padjadjaran, who has allowed me to have the experience studying in Faculty of Pharmacy and now become my second home in Universitas Padjadjaran. Professor Dr. Alia Nur Hasana as Vice Dean of the Education, also as the former head of doctoral program in pharmacy, and Professor Dr. Anis Yohana Hairunisa as the current head of doctoral program in pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy Universitas Padjadjaran, who has helped us doctoral students a lot so that we can complete the education well. To Professor Dr. Anas Subarnas as an examiner for the representation of professors. Thank you for giving all of your kindness and unpretentious, who will be a role model for us. To all the examiners, Dr. Kusnandar Anggadireja, Dr. Eni Rohmawati, Dr. Irma Meliani Puspitasari, and Dr. Gofarana Wilar. Thank you for providing constructive suggestion and input so that my research and dissertation become better and of higher quality. To all lecturers, staff, and laboratory assistants of the Faculty of Pharmacy Universitas Padjadjaran who have provided knowledge, guidance, and assistance to me. I also want to say thank you to Dr. Judy Arifin as the Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry Universitas Padjadjaran, Dr. Sri Susilawati and Dr. Endang Samsudin as the Vice Dean, who have allowed me to follow this doctoral education, and also to all of the lecturers and staff of Faculty of Dentistry Universitas Padjadjaran, especially my colleagues at the Department Oral Medicine for the opportunity and support for me. And of course, to all of my students in Fakultas Kedokteran Gigi Universitas Padjadjaran. Thank you very much. Bapak Jajang, Bapak Ajang, Bapak Jajah Hidayat, Ibu Ida Ayumiati, Ibu Iyam Mariam, Ibu Eli, Ibu Hani, Ibu Susianti, Ibu Chana, Ibu Rahmawati, and Ibu Ida Farida for the assistance to me in carrying out the research in the laboratory. Also to Teh Titin from Oral Medicine Department, thank you for helping me in reach the lector position. To Ibu Reni from Faculty of Dentistry's Library and Ibu Sri Rahni from Unpad Library, who have encouraged me on my Turnitin account. Also thank you to my elementary, junior, and high school friends, also my colleagues in Dentistry Faculty of Universitas Padjadjaran and in Indonesia, for always support and pray for me. Thank you to all my fellow students of the doctoral program in pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy Universitas Padjadjaran, especially the class of 2019, who have fought together for the support and motivation given to me. Your enthusiasm always reminds me to never give up. And then let me convey the quotes of the day from the Chinese proverb. Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. So keep learning, friends, so that we will reach with treasure of knowledge. To my parents and parents-in-law, Dr. Andes Imam Effendi and Anisija almarhum, Bapak Ion Kardiana almarhum, and Ibu Maimunah, and my sister, brothers, and the whole extended family, thank you for prayers and support that is always given to me. Hatur nuhun, matur suwun. To my girl, Marsarika Adinda Ristiana, who are currently undergoing her final exam and cannot attend here, and to my boy, my TOEFL test sparring partner, Ifenrico Falayuki Ristiana, Thank you for all the love and passion for me. Mina ishoni gambarimasyo. And last but not least, my beloved husband, Kang Rizdi. Thank you for giving love and affection, always supporting and always accompany me during this study. Mo, hiyaku nang Suzuki Masyo. And all parties who cannot be mentioned one by one for the assistance given to me during this research and preparation of this dissertation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the best reward for all the support and assistance to me while completing my studies. I realize that dissertation is not perfect, but I hope it still be useful for science, especially in the field of pharmacy and dentistry. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Indah. By expressing gratitude for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and thanks to the supervisor team and the examiner team as well as the audience, the session is declared to be complete and closed. We invite Dr. Indah to stand in front of the camera for photo session with all the committee. For Prof. Pawi and Dr. Kusnandar, you can leave the meeting. Thank you.